Our next presenter, actually, I have the privilege of knowing quite well. I've known him for about, I think, 6 years now. Geronimo Lopez, or in other times, like I say, Geronimo Lopez. He's an incredible member of our community here at Pearl. We have had the privilege of having him be a leader with us in our culinary community. He came here and opened the restaurant at the Culinary Institute of America now, having spent his career traveling from his homeland of Venezuela throughout Europe, throughout Latin America, opening incredible restaurants and being a leader and a teacher and a culinarian and a student himself. And he has really been close to our hearts. And after opening now and running it successfully and being an inspiration and a leader to so many students, he's opened his own restaurant, had his own flag with his incredible team here at BOTIKA. And I hope a lot of you have been able to experience BOTIKA. It's truly an expression of Geronimo's creativity, his generosity, his passion. We learn from him all the time, and we're so excited to have him come and present tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to be here, and it's such a hard act to follow, you know, all these people talking about their amazing stories and what they do and their passions. And I just gonna say, and you're gonna understand this as I go along, that I'm a lucky guy. You know, I get to work with beautiful things. Since the age I was 12, that's where I started. I knew at age 12 that I wanted to be a cook. So this is where the story begins. And the story begins in Caracas, Venezuela. So a lot of people sadly knows about Venezuela because of the news these last few days or these last few years. But what you don't know is that in that picture you have the largest synagogue, the largest mesquite, and the largest Christian church that all live in the same street in Caracas, Venezuela, and they all pray in the same place. The beautiful thing about that is that they don't have to fight about parking because they have different days of praying. You know? So it's good right there. That's me, that nerdy kid that you see right there behind the chef. That guy is at age 18, 1995, trying to struggle with the fact that he wanted to be a chef. And those are the markets of Caracas where you have to taste everything, because there is a word that you want to learn. It's called la ñapa. La ñapa means the taste. You go, you buy something, you got to get a taste. So you want to taste the ñapa, you want to go to the markets, you want to talk to these people and say, is that good? And I will get slapped by my grandmother if the ñapa was not good. You know, if I bring something that was gone and it was not fresh or something, she will get mad at me, slap me over, and then go and yell at the guy, you know? So we come from the Caribbean, and this is hard to understand. We are the north of the south, you know, and La Tortuga, for example, this little island that you see here, used to be the largest pirate enclave in the Caribbean, where they will attack the other ships, the buccaneers, the pirates. They were enclaved here. It is right off the coast of Venezuela. But we also have the Amazon, and the Amazon is a bounty of ingredients that gives us every year something nice and beautiful that we can hold on to, like acai, like guaraná, you know, and we all engrave it. Now they call that superfoods, but it's not superfoods, it's just food, you know. And this is Cuyagua. Cuyagua is one of my most appreciated places. That little river that you see in the left side, that's where the fishmongers come in every morning at 5:30, 6 a.m. with the fresh fish. And you order your fish and you surf, because that's what I did when I was a young kid. I will cook and surf, that's all I did, you know. And you order your fish and you surf. And now I get dumped, and I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to go to Paris and study culinary arts when I was 19 years old, you know. So I get dumped in Paris in this market that's called Enfant Rouge, that is created in 1615, you know, and it's 5 centuries of beautiful ingredients from all over the world. And that's when I learned multiculturalism, and I learned that black beans go very well with foie gras. This is the market of Oaxaca, 20 de noviembre, and it's one of the markets where people really struggle to make something beautiful out of food and service. And if you haven't been, you should go. It's 2 hours down that way. The Mercado Chino de La Habana, you know, it's one of those things that happen because of melting pots and beautiful coalitions of people thinking the same way. It's mojitos and sweet and sour chicken. Nothing wrong with that. The Surquillo market of Peru, Lima, it's ajíes, it's leche de tigre, it's beautiful colors and flavors and people having breakfast and lunch all at the same time and buying different things for the flavors. You have to understand that we come from 450 types of corn in South America. So we have all types, and we believe in ourselves as people of the corn. This is Calle Capón in Lima, the birthplace of the Chifa cuisine. You know, the Chinese gather themselves in that street, and if you look at it, it's all restaurants, all Chinese food mixed with Latin American food, beautiful stuff. So after me looking at, you know, Europe and looking at the US as the place that we wanted to be, the place that we wanted to go, this is me in my first, look at that young guy. He look good, you know. And then I was surfing, like I said, you know, I was young, I wanted to travel, and so I ended up in Hawaii. And then in Hawaii, and I started understanding the lines that drew limes from Asia to Latin America. And can you imagine if we didn't have limes, if we didn't have avocado, if we didn't have mango? I mean, how sad it would be, you know? How sad. And this is the proof, imu. Imu is the way that we work pork in Hawaii. We wrap it up, we bury it into the ground, we give praises to the gods that we had a good harvest, that we have something to eat. And we have taro, and we have imu, and we have cabbage. This is Pachamanca in Peru. Peru, the Pachamanca is done to grace the gods for the harvest. So we do the same thing. We harvest our food, we put it into the ground, we thank you to the gods, and we eat it in community. You know, just to say, thank you, Pachamama, we adore you. And this is actually what we do in BOTIKA. This is caja china, Cuban style, you know, and it's a more modern invention of it, but it's still the same thing. It's a way to cook pork underneath, and it's always done by gathering the family together. You cannot do this for two people. You have to gather people together, you know. And the demonstration of all this is what I call the lunch plate. The Hawaiian lunch plate is when the sugarcane workers went in Hawaii, they shared their food. There were Filipinos, Japanese, they were from America, they were from all over the place, and they share all their food. They put it in one plate, and they share it all the way. So that's what Chino Latino is, you know, for me. Chino Latino. I love that image. Because we are that, you know, and I am by far the description of this culture, you know. We, in Latin America, in Asia, we have lines that go all together, and we share things, you know. And like I said in the beginning, I'm a lucky guy. And I'm a lucky guy because I have a beautiful wife. You see, I'm lucky. And she pushes me all the time to be a better person, to understand better things. And this photo is in Berlin, and is in that Berlin Wall. And if you haven't been there, you want to notice there's no wall. You know, there's no wall in Berlin. Because even in the recent attacks, Berlin is a show of multiculturalism. It's a show of people that understand that we all live in this together. And yes, there are extremists, but come on, man. It's much better when we're together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm like, voy a llorar. You know, somebody, a wise person once said to me that a restaurant is like a story. And so, you know, when we go into BOTIKA and see this culmination of this incredible journey for you, if you have to say a couple of lines of the story of what BOTIKA is, how would you say it?
I think, you know, Chifa Nikkei describes in 2 words very much what happened all over America. People came from Asia, people came from all over the world, they made their history here, they grounded in a place and they said, okay, well, you have mango, I have avocado, and you have ginger, and I have this. And, you know, then, okay, let's do this together. Their kids start playing with our kids, and they came up with different, and they came back home and they said, you know what, in the other house they do a little bit of habanero in that thing and it's pretty good. You know, so that's how melting pot happens, and for me that's how the history happens. So I'm always been opposed to the word fusion, because fusion to me is a little bit of like Lego doing, you know. Oh yeah, it's mango, it's roses, and let's do that, mango, avocado, roses. You know, that doesn't work. I think we have a history, and the history occurs naturally, and this is where this fusion and this food comes from.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was going to ask, I think it's one of the challenges when you have a cuisine that is traversing between cultures, is that fusion is this word, but it's never felt accurate to what you do at BOTIKA and what I've seen with other chefs here. So I'm glad you clarified that and spoke so personally about it.
Yeah, for me, fusion, you know, it's Sunday going to the Chinese Cultural Center and having dim sum, and I always thought as a kid and growing up that was comfort food, you know. So now I realize, of course, as an adult, that is not exactly my culture, but I made it my culture. So why not?
Vale.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.